and D is true, so we have false, then true, which is true. Okay, on to the next line. Z and F is true and true, which is true. And D on this line is false. So we have true, then false, and we get false on this line. Okay. So this statement, if we were just thinking about its statement, this statement would be contingent because there's some truths and some falses, right? Okay. Let's keep going. Z is false and F is true. False and true is false. And D on this line is false. So we have false, then false, which is true. False, then false is true. Okay, so here, Z is true and F is false. So we have true and false, which is false. And D on this line is false. So we have false, then false, which is true. Okay, last line to do. Z and F, they're both false, so false and false is false. And D is also false, so we have false, then false, which is true. Okay, so we've calculated this. Now we need to calculate this one and then compare. Okay? All right. So we have to work from the innermost brackets out. So F, then D. So we have true, then true, which is true. Okay? And Z is true, so I have true, then true, which is true. And then I have not, and I get false. Okay? So on line 1, that statement would be false. Everybody got that? Okay? So let's keep going. Line 2, F and D. So we have true, then true, which is true. Z here is false. False, then true is true. But we have a negation, so we negate the true and it becomes false. Okay, so line 2 gets false. Okay, let's keep going. F, then D, F, then D. We have false, then true. False, then true is true. And Z is true, so true, then true is true. But we have a negation, which makes this false. Okay. Next line, F and D. We have false, then true, which is true. And Z is false. We have false, then true, which is true. And we have not true, which is false. Okay. Next line, F is true, D is false. F is true, D is false. True, then false is false. Z on this line is true, so we have true, then false, which is false. But then we have to negate it, and so we get a true. Okay. All right, let's continue on. F, then D. So it's true, then false, which is false. Z is false. False, then false is true. But we have to negate it, so we end up with false. Okay. F, then D on this line. F is false, D is false. So false, then false is true. And Z on this line is true. So we have true, then true, which is true. But we have to negate it, so we get false. Okay? And so now the last line, everything is false. We have false, then false, which is true. And then we have false, then true, which is true. but we have to negate it, so it ends up being false. Okay. So we have our two final columns. And when we're comparing statements, there are different things that can happen. Okay, so let's remind ourselves. One possibility is that they are logically equivalent. Okay, that means they have the same truth value, identical truth values on each interpretation. So they match. Okay, and another option is that they are logically contradictory. And this means that they have the opposite truth value on every interpretation. Okay? And then we also said that they could be consistent or inconsistent. Okay? And consistent means that there's at least one interpretation where they both turn out to be simultaneously true. Does everybody understand that? Okay. So now, when you work one of these problems, you're going to be given all these options, and you're going to tick all of the appropriate boxes. Okay? And what I'm going to say to you is this: you will always tick one of these. Okay? You're always going to say it's either consistent or inconsistent, okay? Sometimes you may tick one of these two, sometimes not. So you might have two ticks or just one. Does everybody understand that? But don't just say, oh, it's one of these or it's one of those, and then forget to do anything else. It's not find the 1 out of 4, it's tick all the boxes that are appropriate. Okay. All right. So let's see, logically equivalent, they have to have matching truth values. Let's see, do these match? No. So we already know not logically equivalent. Okay, so we're going to ask our next question, are they logically contradictory? Well, that would mean they have the opposite truth value for every interpretation. So opposite, 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 opposite. These are logically contradictory, right? So we would tick this box. But now we would ask, well, are they consistent or inconsistent? And it's going to be one or the other. Consistent means there's at least one place where they're both simultaneously true, okay? And if we don't find that, they're inconsistent. So we're looking for true, true. No, 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 no. No, we did not find a case where they're both true, so we're going to also tick this box, inconsistent. Does everybody understand that? Okay, so make sure you're always going to tick one of these, consistent or inconsistent, and it might be the case that you only tick one of these, but sometimes you might tick one of those as well. Okay, that was that one. Let me do number 8. Okay. Number 8. 8 only has 2 things, B and L. B and L. So that means we only need 4 lines. 2, 3, and 4. True, false, true, false, true, true, false, false. And it's not B, then L, that's 1. And the other one is not L. Oops. Not L, then not B. B then L. True then true is true, but not makes it false. True then false is false, but not makes it true. False and true is true, but not makes it false. False and false is true, but not makes it false. Okay, so that's the first one. Okay, over here, I'm gonna rewrite these columns. This is not L, so I'm just gonna write the opposite of this. So I get false, true, false, true. And B is gonna go false, false, true, true. And now I can just do the conditional. And that's true, false, true, and true. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have to compare this column with that one, okay? Are they logically equivalent? Do they have matching truth values? No. Okay, so they don't. Let's get rid of those answers now. Okay, how about logically contradictory? Are they always the opposite? Opposite, 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 opposite. So we'd say logically contradictory, again, so we're getting kind of the same results. And now consistent or inconsistent. Is there a line where they're both true? No, 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 no. So we get another logically contradictory and inconsistent. Everybody got that? Okay. Now, on the test, I'm not going to make you, for this thing, because and the quiz, you're working all these problems, I'm not going to make you work all this stuff. I'm just going to say, hey, there's this statement, call it A, and here's its final column. And here's another statement, B, and here's its final column. And then I'm just going to say compare those. Does everybody understand that? So it's like I give you the final result, and then you tell them. Everybody understand that? Okay. So that's one format change. Okay. So the last thing is 3.7. This is validity. Okay. Have we done problem 3? Yes? No?